Philadelphia's Academy of Natural Sciences is located in one of that city's most scenic downtown areas. Its Dinosaur Hall and other exhibits and resources have long been a major attraction for tourists and students as well as scientific researchers. It's the oldest natural history museum in the United States and the one that first introduced the public to a real dinosaur. In 1868, it became the first institution anywhere in the world to mount a dinosaur skeleton. That fossil, Hadrosaurus foulkii, was discovered 10 years earlier in a marl pit in nearby Haddonfield, New Jersey. It was the first nearly complete skeleton of a dinosaur ever found, and the one that allowed scientists to study the real anatomy of the unique prehistoric creatures for the very first time. In November 2008, 140 years later, the Academy has opened a new exhibit celebrating those Victorian-era events that are a landmark in the history of dinosaur paleontology. The exhibit features a completely new mount of Hadrosaurus foulkii skeleton in a modern pose, but the rest of the surrounding exhibit recreates the actual rooms and atmosphere of the Victorian era and the colorful characters involved in those historic 1868 events. There is, for instance, a section of the workshop-like office of Dr. Joseph Leidy. He documented and recognized the stunning significance of the 1858 Haddonfield fossil bone find. Another section commemorates the Haddonfield marl pit site and the work of lawyer and amateur fossil hunter William Parker Folk, who discovered the bones. There is also a recreated portion of the studio of Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins, the sculptor and natural history artist who designed and assembled the 1868 skeletal mounting of Hadrosaurus foulkii. As the Academy prepared to open this new 2008 exhibit, we spoke with Barbara Siga, Vice President for Public Operations.
The reason that we decided to remount Hadrosaurus actually started a little less than 2 years ago when we started thinking about, it was the 150th anniversary of the description and the discovery of Hadrosaurus and the 140th anniversary of the mounting of the completed skeleton. And we thought that would be a wonderful anniversary to celebrate by doing a new exhibit of Hadrosaurus, remounting the skeleton in a modern posture and reinterpreting it for the public today. There weren't many obstacles because the story is all here at the Academy. Normally putting an exhibit together, you have to travel, you have to go to various places and gather information together. And as we were developing this exhibit, all of the information, the specimens, the props, the references, the correspondence, it's all under our roof. It was in the library, it was in the collections, it was in people's offices. What we didn't have here came out of people's homes because they had private collections that helped us out. And so it really came together incredibly easily, and all the expertise was in-house too. Well, we knew we wanted the exhibit to have a Victorian feel to it because as we started doing the research, the whole feeling of no one had ever seen a dinosaur skeleton in a natural history museum before. Today, every natural history museum, they all have different things, but you expect there to be a dinosaur skeleton. And back in 1868, there weren't any, except for the Academy of Natural Sciences. And you have to think about anything that becomes commonplace today had to have a beginning. There had to be a first museum that did it and a first skeleton that went up. And the first museum was the Academy and the first skeleton was Hadrosaurus foulkii. And as we started digging through the archives and the correspondence, you could feel the excitement of everybody who was involved. The letters from William Parker Folk, who discovered Hadrosaurus foulkii, to Joseph Leidy, saying, you know, you've got to come out here, it's wonderful, the things are splendid. I think we all fell in love with Joseph Leidy, those of us on the team, because he was such a gracious fellow, so smart, so focused on his work, so generous with his time. You know, William Parker Folk was an amateur. He was a Philadelphia lawyer who liked to hunt for fossils, and he heard about these bones and he realized that, wow, this might be something related to things that I'd heard about at lectures at the Academy. And he spent his summer vacation digging holes all around Haddonfield until he found these things and then wrote to Leidy. And again, Leidy, the professional, pretty much the head of paleontology in this country, stopped what he was doing, went out to Haddonfield, dug up the bones, worked side by side with this amateur paleontologist until they got everything out. And then 10 years later, Waterhouse Hawkins shows up because he's on a tour, a lecture tour in the United States. And again, Leidy welcomes him in, shares all of his time with him, really works closely with him, and then Hawkins says, well, if you're going to be this generous, I can be generous too, and I can make you a cast of this skeleton so that people can really see what these animals looked like. And so, you know, all these great characters came out, and it was wonderful. The more you learned about each of them, We just really enjoyed it. It got better and better as we got deeper and deeper into the story. We hope that when visitors come, they can put themselves back in time just momentarily. Right now we're spoiled. We see dinosaurs wherever we go. We see them on TV, we see them in gift shops, we see them on stages. But there was a time when only one place in the whole world you could see a dinosaur, and that was here at the Academy. And how it must have felt to those people. And they did. They flocked by the hundreds of thousands to the Academy to see this animal. So put yourself back 140 years ago and imagine what it was like for those people, just for a moment. And then enjoy the exhibit, enjoy the rest of the museum, and enjoy living in Philadelphia, which is a great city filled with these kinds of stories.
For more information about the Hadrosaurus foulkii exhibit, see the Academy's website at www.ansp.org. To exactly locate the Academy, go to google.com/maps and enter 1900 Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Philadelphia. That will bring up a detailed street map. For the full illustrated story of Hadrosaurus foulkii, see NewJerseyDinosaur.com. And to see Haddonfield's famed bronze sculpture of the creature, go to Hadrosaurus.com.